Welcome to the Explainer. We're seeing electric cars everywhere these days, but it turns out the reasons people are actually buying them are changing, and changing fast. Today, we're going to plug in and find out the surprising truth about why so many drivers are making the switch. All right, let's just dive right in with a question you probably think you know the answer to. Is it all about saving the planet, or maybe just wanting the latest, coolest tech? Well, hang on, because the data from recent studies might just blow your mind. So this right here, this flips a pretty common assumption completely on its head. A survey of Australian car buyers found that the number one reason, the biggest motivator, it isn't the environment. Nope, it's about saving cold, hard cash. As you can see, a full 51% said their top reason was saving money on gas. Okay, so if the wallet is what's really in the driver's seat, let's follow the money. We're going to break down the numbers from an economic feasibility study to see if switching to electric really adds up in the long run. So the first thing you run into, of course, is the sticker price. And yeah, there's no sugarcoating it. This comparison from a study in India shows that the average electric car has a way higher upfront cost. We're talking almost 65% more than a similar gas-powered car. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow right out of the gate. But this is where the story completely flips. When you look at the monthly running costs, an EV is just dramatically cheaper. I mean, for both electricity and maintenance. It all adds up, right? The total operational costs are over 60% lower every single month. All of a sudden, that initial sticker shock starts to feel a little less shocking. And check this out. This perfectly illustrates the long-term payoff. The same analysis figured out the net present value over 10 years, which is just a fancy financial way of saying, what's it all worth in today's money? After you factor in all the costs and all the savings, the EV doesn't just break even. It gives you a positive return of over 1 million rupees. Think about that. It's an investment that actually pays you back. Of course, you and I both know the decision isn't just a simple math problem. There are real-world worries and, practical hurdles that every potential EV buyer has to think about before they take the plunge. So let's take a look at what those are. No huge surprise here. That high purchase price we just talked about is the number one barrier for 28% of people. But right behind it are two really practical concerns: not being able to find a charging station when you need one, and this psychological thing called range anxiety. So what in the world is range anxiety? Well, think of it as that little voice in the back of your head, that nagging fear that your battery's gonna die and leave you stranded on the side of the road before you can find a place to plug in. It's a really powerful mental block for a lot of potential buyers. So you've got the financial benefits on one side and these very real practical anxieties on the other. It's like a tug-of-war, right? Let's move on and see how this all plays out in the real world when people have to pick an actual brand. A recent study surveyed 350 potential EV buyers in India to see which brands they were leaning towards. And let me tell you, the results were not evenly distributed. Not even close. It really looks like one company found the secret sauce. Wow, just look at these results. They are pretty striking. Tata Motors captured the preference of a staggering 54% of potential buyers. That's more than all the other brands combined. This really suggests they figured out how to tackle those key concerns, price, range, and charging, for a huge part of the market. So when you put this all together, the choice to go electric isn't a simple yes or no. It's a really complex, personal calculation of cost, convenience, and, well, your own convictions. This right here really gets to the heart of it. The quote on this slide just puts it perfectly. This isn't just about swapping a gas engine for a battery. It's about fundamentally changing our habits, our daily routines, and even how we think about getting from point A to point B. For anyone out there even thinking about an EV, the journey pretty much boils down to these 3 steps. First, you've got to face that initial sticker shock. Second, you do the math on the huge long-term savings. And finally, you have to honestly weigh the practical hurdles, like charging and range, against your own life and how you drive. So, as we've explored in this explainer, the whole reason for getting an EV seems to be shifting from an argument about the environment to a really powerful one about your wallet. Which brings us to our final question, and this one's for you to think about. What's the one thing that would finally convince you to make the switch? Thank you for joining us.